Welcome guys, welcome back to the channel. Where do we find ourselves today? At Rogue Motorsports. If you remember, on the last video we had a little boost leak when we were on a wide open throttle, so came down to one of the big boys in the UK for sorting out MR2s and basically 3S GTEs. This Rogue Motorsports, and if you know anything about MR2, you know these guys have been around since the early 2000s. Why go all the way to these guys to fix a boost leak, you ask? Well, on my car, it's quite annoying as far as like how the turbo setup is. Like, you think if you don't have like a smoke machine or something like that, you'll be forever chasing your tail and, you know, trying to find a boost leak and stuff like that. And obviously it gives me an opportunity and excuse to make sure the car's good on the underside as well. You know, the car sits for quite a few months of the year, so this is one of the few opportunities you get a chance to look on the underside of the car.
Alright guys, this is the car in the workshop.
At the moment now, if you look there at the airbox, sorry, that's a block, like basically a blank we have there to test or pressurize the system, because so many pipes here and stuff. It's highly very annoying trying to figure out a boost leak. So anyway, guys, I managed to figure it out, and I'm going to take it on a little test drive now just to make sure everything's working correctly, and we should be back on the road.
Excuse the wind noise if you can hear it, but yeah, this is like a extra segment I put in just to explain where the boost leak was on the car, and it was just inside there. Where I'm pointing to is like where the intercooler is on these cars, and you're saying, why couldn't he have done that himself? I did this I tightened this myself before I went there, so I don't understand how they were able to find it so easily. That's pretty much why they put that that air block on this air filter here. They took this 4-inch air filter out and blocked off this pipe here where the turbo is, and they were able to pressurize it. That's why they were able to find it literally in 10 seconds. If I did this, it would be like take the pipe off or put the pipe on as tight as you think. Hopefully it's working. You go out for a drive and repeat the process. I've done that so many times, and yeah, sometimes you get it, you're lucky. You make sure you tighten all the Jubilee clips you can see here, because on my car I've not got HT leads anymore. I've got these are coil-on packs, which is basically from a if you know your Toyota engines, 1ZZ engines, so basically the Mark III. So to change them, you got to take off these pipes. So it's not as easy as when you had a HT lead. You can just pop them off and get to the spark plug quite easily. So yeah, because race car, it makes things a little harder for me on that front. But hey, it's all part of the fun of having more power in the car, so I'm not complaining. Anyway, back to normal viewing. Alright guys, let's test out the car. Put a water methanol injection on. Give it a little pull. Honestly guys, when this car comes on boost, it's so violent. People
had like an advanced sports ABS, but the guy who spec'd this car literally wanted nothing, no ABS, no traction control. This is the GTS, which is sort of a stripped down version of the, if you can liken it to, like, let's say Porsche RS version of Porsche. So you get basically you and the engine, and if you mess up, well, that's you. So yeah, that's basically how this car is to drive. I mean, newer cars you can probably drive it faster, but this one you gotta really be on it or awake to drive this car. So now you can see why I really didn't want to push it when there was a boost leak, because everything has to be working in tandem. This is basically how, when you have a 90s car, how you keep it in tip-top shape. Fix the car, any problem you have when it's a small problem. Nip it in the bud, and then you're plain sailing. This car is really reliable. I've had this car many years now, and apart from anything that I did, it's never broken down on me at that time. So this is like a little bit of advice I'll give to anyone who's thinking about getting into these type of cars, because they are getting on a bit now, 30 plus years. So yeah, just how it is. Yeah, let me give you a little POV of just that little pull we did there. We got to, what was it, 1.5 bar, a boost at 6,300 RPM. It's not bad. Let me just go through this gauge with it. It's not bad actually. This is basically a gauge that's connected to my ECU, so it goes through a CANBUS, and it's basically giving me live data from my gauge, and this is how I set it up. So this is the intake and the coolant temperature, battery, and all that business. This is why I normally keep it on this RPM, gear, and boost. And then you have a last one there with intake, gear. You can set it up anyhow you like, so basically this is how I set mine up. So yeah, you can keep an eye on it. Thank you guys for staying till the end of the video. I think we can safely say we've sorted out the boost leak on the car. All is working well. So much fun when that happens on the car, and you can relax a little bit when you're driving your car. Nothing worse than having like second minds when you're driving a car. What's that noise? And all that business. So I'm happy everything's sorted out on the car. We've got a few more plans this summer for this car, and watch out for the next video, guys. Appreciate you guys.